Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel for this Monday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And as you know, I've done a couple of videos on this topic of Emmerdale. Here in the UK, Emmerdale is a long-running, beloved British soap opera show based in the Yorkshire Dales, and recently they've got a neurodivergent real-life autistic actor called Bradley Riches playing the role of Lewis Barton, which is Ross Barton's younger brother, and he's their first ever autistic neurodivergent character. So each episode that Lewis Barton has been in, or the scenes that he's been in, I'm critiquing them as an autistic neurodivergent woman myself, and I thought I'd give you my thoughts and opinions on each episode. I know I'm a bit behind, so I have written some notes for the next 3 or 4 episodes that I've missed already, and I'm going to be critiquing them in the episodes to come. So today I'm doing Wednesday the 2nd of July 2025, and in this scene we see Lewis is communicating with another Yorkshire Dales member called Vinny. They are in the cafe because Vinny is waiting for Gabby, which is his girlfriend. And then we see Lewis and his brother Ross meet up in the cafe, and Ross and Lewis act completely different with each other, as we've realised that these two have now fallen out with each other due to Mac and Ross trying to lie and steal off Lewis because Lewis was giving them some cannabis plants. Yes, cannabis is illegal here in the UK, but these were cannabis plants, not actual proper cannabis plants, but cannabis flowers like seed plants. And Lewis finds out that they'd stolen from him to try and make a profit, and had sold these flowers seeds on to somebody else. And Lewis finds out and goes understandably upset, angry with Ross, and they have words. And so then Moira, who Ross lives on the farm with, Moira is a farmer in Emmerdale, and she then finds out they've been using her spare barn as a cannabis hold, and she basically tells him to get rid of it, and she says, you shouldn't have done this without my consent, you shouldn't be using my farm as a cannabis pot place, and basically shouts at them and makes sure that they agree to get rid of it. And then Ross says, well, it's not actually Lewis's stuff, it's mine, which makes Moira even more angry. And then Lewis goes to say something but stops himself, and Ross covers for Lewis, which I think is a really smart move. I think that was a really well planned move by Ross to cover for Lewis, because obviously Lewis, it could be seen as Lewis being manipulated or intimidated or being made to lie on his own behalf. Then Lewis comes back to Ross and says that he appreciates why he did that, but he doesn't understand why that Ross would stand up and lie for him and protect him in front of Moira. Moira then seems to have slowly started to forgive Lewis and Ross on this account, and they then try to help her sort out her financial situation by doing chores around in the farm. So obviously we know cannabis is illegal here in the UK. It is classed as a Class A drug, which is illegal, and obviously in Emmerdale they wouldn't promote cannabis use or promote cannabis as a place or thing to do. And obviously these plants are probably not cannabis, but they've been made to look out as cannabis plants. And I think Moira has more than enough reason to be angry and frustrated at both Ross and Lewis, because Ross and Lewis had basically taken advantage of her and her generosity and her warmth, and to be able to use the farm space and to drag their friend Mac into the situation as well, which I don't think is nice of Ross to do. I think Ross is a very manipulative character. I think he's only in it for his own advantage and his own self-pity and his own self-gain. I don't think he really cares about anyone else that he takes down potentially with him. And I think that Lewis is getting used to Ross being around Ross and realising that Ross is his brother, and they are trying to understand each other and work with each other. But at the same time, Lewis is a neurodiverse person, and I don't know if Ross is going to use that to his advantage, knowing that his brother is a person with a difference, a person who communicates differently, who sees the world differently. And I think Moira is starting to get used to being around Lewis and to finding out who he is, what he's about. And I think it's going to take Moira and the others to get to know Lewis a little bit better, because he is new to Emmerdale. He's only been in Emmerdale a month. So so far we are getting to know Lewis a little bit better, and his character and what his potential storyline is. And as a neurodivergent myself, I think this is a really good place that Emmerdale has got to, because a lot of soaps still are a little bit behind in their castings of neurodivergent actors or actresses, or neurodivergent people in general, and I think it's about time that Emmerdale has stepped up and actually got someone with a true neurodivergent diagnosis, and they're using that as a strength as part of their cast, and giving him some storylines to show off his autistic acting ability and to talk about autism. There is a scene that I'm going to do in the next video which talks about sensory overload, anxiety overload, kind of panic attack scenes. But yeah, I thought I would talk about through this episode. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.